And that is how you gain those amazing character traits and attributes such as humility and meekness and tenderness and gentleness and kindness. Is you just embrace the crap of it all and you just let it tear parts of you away and expose parts of you that you didn't even know were there. So that being said, from that camp again up there in Vassar, I stayed there, earned me my first attempt to stay with my sister Shaniqua for a home with a real blood family and not paid workers of the state. I was around 15 to 16, barely, and still attending Wayne Memorial High School while making really poor decisions to binge drink with hard alcohol nights before school, on the weekend, the next day, and so on and so on. I was so much of an out of control, hurting young man. My sister had no choice but to phone that same camp up in Vassar and Saginaw and request a vehicle transport for fear I might have run away or whatever. And they brought me back. I thought about running away, but my grandpa's spirit spoke to me in my pain and anguish and advised me, a real man never runs from, but always faces his own problems, so that when he travels, he finds new problems and is not bringing around old ones into new places and new faces. I love my grandpa. So back to Vassar, Michigan, I go for another year or so. This time, because I've been here before and I know the ropes, I'm aware of the routines and the schedules, the expectations, and yada yada. The staff decided to make me a personal example of leadership and model behavior to all the other kids. Like they would never hate me or ostracize me or like treat me differently because of this. And immediately, the other kids upon my re-arrival, this caused many, many problems and trials until a new bed opened up that what was communicated to me via my state social worker, a semi-independent living home or facility. To us foster boys, the words meant a home where you could get your own room, your own responsibilities, your own schedule, your own part-time job, your own school hours, etc., and get financial assistance from the state to maintain your semi-independent citizen status, taking care of yourself with little or no state staff supervision. Every foster boy's wet dream. St. Peter's Home for Boys is what it was called. Itself an old industrial apartment building renovated to house boys in a similar fashion as misdemeanor marijuana offenders in overcrowded jails, overcrowded rooms. Again, short-staffed and under-compassionate. I explored crafting things from clay, firing things in a kiln, melting glass down to make my own jewelry and beads. I was also at this time included in a group attempt of us boys to break into the administrative building out behind the residential quarters where we lived and cohabited. The other boys went straight for the cash box, but I was so angry and at the wrong targets, I immediately started gathering and hauling all the computers, monitors, CPUs, etc. from the admin building out about 150 yards or so to the woods, where I stashed them 15 feet off the ground in a tree. Everything was recovered shortly thereafter. But sometimes I'll look back and think of times like these, and I can't begin to say thank you enough that Jesus didn't leave me where he found me, because I would be so good at being awful. I was just a natural, you know. Yeah. When I was living here, I also wasn't allowed to finish my high school degree at any local high school and was forced to settle for and achieve my GED by default. After receiving my GED, I attempted to pursue government-funded training as a CNA/phlebotomist, but was denied by the administrative team over the boys' home. I had only passed 2 out of 6 requested urine analyses so far, and they wanted 4 more before they would approve my extracurricular trade job pursuit, despite its full funding. And they sent me multiple times to the Children's Hospital of Detroit under false suicide accusations and reports of unobservable self-harm, because I would protest and I would sit Indian style behind their cars when they would want to leave the site at 5 or 6 and go to their homes, their lovers, whatever. And no, I mean, my needs aren't taken care of. You're not taking care of me. You're paid to take care of me. you can't leave work without doing work. Like, what have you been doing here this whole time? Hiding in an office with a code on the front door and the back door that you can't get in unless they buzz you in, like a jail. I mean, it's despicable. The crazy part is there was this movie I told you guys about before. It's called America. It stars Rosie O'Donnell again. In the movie, the hospital where America's grandmom is, or whatever, was actually the home where I was here. And I mean, me and the staff and the boys, we would all smoke pot together, get 40s on the Fridays when we got our little allowances for doing chores or whatever. And the staff and the boys would drink and we'd smoke alike and we'd just do our thing, despite all the administrative conflict. I mean, the guy who owned the place only came there to take pictures and then play with his cameras in his office and never once talked to any of the boys. I mean, any of the administrative staff. They just wanted nothing to do with these boys with these problems and this anger and these emotions. I don't think they were qualified. I don't think they had it in their heart to begin with what these kids really needed, and I don't blame them. But that being said, I wasn't allowed to finish my diploma after receiving my GED, and after repeated little escorts to the Detroit Children's Hospital for false accusations of self-harm. After many, many days of walking off campus and away from that building and enjoying the local parks, the libraries, the malls, shoplifting, etc., only to come back by nightfall to all my personal possessions locked up in a closet, apart from my state-issued amenities, bed, toiletry, etc., I decided enough was enough. I packed the bare essentials into my mesh laundry bag and piled that into a grocery cart and began my epic trek for the Big Apple, from Detroit, Michigan on Joy Road and Southfield Freeway in metropolitan Detroit. Somehow in my head I had it figured out. If I could just make it to New York City, I could work under the table till I turned 18, then immediately pursue emancipation from the state. 12 hours and 35 miles of grocery cart travel, cart hauling, pushing on and off I-90, talking to cops, all that stuff. I rest for the day at a truck stop in Woodbridge, Michigan. It's about 20 miles or so from the Ohio border. I stayed the cold night in the shack they stored the salt mounds for the frozen roads and the parking lots in. It was brutal, really cold. The next day, as hard as I tried, I couldn't hitch a ride or find a truck driver out of that truck stop to save my life. I later on gave up on this plan and made a personal call to the referee assigned to my juvenile case in juvenile court in Detroit, Michigan, and petitioned for an emergency hearing. I didn't know I could even do this. Within a week or two, me and the administrative staff of St. Peter's Home for Boys and I went to court, and with my state worker as well as the little home worker, and to determine two things. One, St. Peter's Home for Boys was a horrible choice for a child of my abilities, potentials, intelligences, previous abuses, previous neglects, and previous violations, etc. to be assigned. And two, that there better not be any future shoddy home assignments for me or Hill, the referee, talking to my state FIA worker. I have the state social worker's license, etc., for just multiply putting me in neglectful and abuseful homes and situations one after the other. It's no surprise after this court appearance my state social worker declined to assign me to any future home, group home, etc., and allowed me to independently find myself housing and job opportunities as long as I kept current contact info on file. This was really like the loosest they go in some areas with these kids and these child protective services and all that other stuff. It's a sham. It's a delusion. It's such a waste of money and people, and it doesn't work. I stayed with family and friends looking for work in a downward flushing economy during late 2005 in Michigan State. I was looking for work so hard I had to increase my search radius from a city to a statewide, and then from statewide to a national level, and then from paid jobs to internships, just because of the lack of opportunities elsewhere. I found this internship opportunity in Fredericksburg, Virginia, at a radio station. I was going to be a broadcasting voice, at a Christian teen radio station while I was completely, what do they call that, agnostic. I believed in something and something behind all my pain and everything, but I didn't know something was something else and something had a name, and his name later on became Jesus to me. That being said, this Christian radio station broadcasted out of D.C., but was actually hardware and software and the whole townhouse and everything that was converted to the radio station was in Fredericksburg. My plane ticket was in hand at my ex-girlfriend's father's provision. She's Arabic. He was first generation Arabic. We loved each other, but she fell in love and I never fell in love because I never felt like I was enough for her. Like, she had so much hurt and everything I couldn't commit, and I'm glad I didn't, but I still hurt her so bad. And we'll just call her name Pooh, Pooh Goose, Goose Pooh, Goose Pooh. Goose Pooh's pretty good. She's the shit. Goose Pooh. And yeah, her dad bought my plane ticket once he found out about this job opportunity, and I started the journey that led me to become the man I am today. Rainbow hair, tattoos, faith in Jesus, the Bible, and all. And stay tuned for the rest, more to come. I'm about 17 years old here, and I still have about 10 years to catch you up on. Love you guys. Keep the faith.